The loading phase takes us from the stance position to the launching position, and it consists of 5 noticeable movements. And in this video, we are going to talk about the first one, which is the backward movement of the shoulders and arms, and identify the muscles involved with this motion. The first noticeable movement that takes place during the loading phase is the backward movement of the shoulders and arms toward the catcher. This action helps to load or stretch different muscles in each shoulder that will be released or contracted later during the swing. Here we see both shoulders and arms moving in the same direction, back and away from the pitcher. However, each shoulder uses a different set of muscles to get there. Now, before we identify the muscles involved with these movements, I want to clarify something for you here. This movement with the arms and shoulders moving back and away from the pitcher and toward the catcher is often referred to as rotation of the arms or rotation of the shoulders. However, this actual terminology is not anatomically correct. And the reason why I want to bring this up to you here is because if you go to a personal trainer or strength coach who may not be familiar with the baseball swing, and you ask them to show you some exercises to help you strengthen the rotational movement of your arms or shoulders, what they're going to think that you're asking them to do is to show you exercises to help you throw a ball harder and faster and not swing the bat harder and faster. And that's because anatomically, this is external shoulder rotation or external arm rotation, and this is internal shoulder rotation or internal arm rotation, while this movement here does not involve any rotation of the arms at the shoulder joints. And so this is the reason why I have chosen to identify this first step in the loading phase as the backward movement of the shoulders and arms, because as you're going to see here in a minute, neither shoulder or arm is actually rotating, and in fact, each shoulder and arm is being moved by a completely different set of muscles. Okay, so with this in mind, let's first take a look at the player's left arm and shoulder. As he prepares to load his body by going from the stance position to the launching position, the left arm and shoulder is moved backward and away from the pitcher, and the correct name for this movement is adduction of the shoulder or adduction of the arm. This movement is caused primarily by the action of the pectoralis major muscle and is also assisted by the coracobrachialis, latissimus dorsi, and teres major muscles, all on the left side of the body. Now, these muscles can be seen more specifically in this image. Once again, here are the pectoralis major, coracobrachialis, latissimus dorsi, and teres major muscles. Now, the left shoulder ends up slightly shrugged in this position, which is a function of the upper fibers of the trapezius muscle, and the left scapula or shoulder blade is also protracted or moved anterior toward the front of the body in this position, and this motion is caused by the left serratus anterior muscle. Now, here's a closer look at these muscles, the upper fibers of the trapezius and the serratus anterior. Now, the contraction of these muscles stretches or loads the muscles on the back of the same leading left shoulder, namely the posterior deltoid, rhomboids, and middle fibers of the trapezius muscle. And because the left arm is so severely adducted across the front of the player's body, 2 of the rotator cuff muscles are also undergoing a stretch, and those are the teres minor and infraspinatus muscles. All of these muscles are now fully loaded or stretched and ready to swing forward in this position, and can be seen in more detail in this image. Here are the posterior deltoid, rhomboids, middle fibers of the trapezius, teres minor, and infraspinatus muscles. Now let's take a look at the back arm or the right arm. The movement of the back arm away from the pitcher and laterally raised away from the player's body is known as shoulder abduction. This is caused by the supraspinatus muscle and the middle deltoid muscle. The right scapula may also be slightly shrugged or elevated in this position depending upon the player's style, and if so, this motion is caused by the upper fibers of the trapezius muscle. All of these muscles can be seen more clearly in this image. Once again, the supraspinatus, middle deltoid, and upper fibers of the trapezius. Now, the contraction of these muscles stretches or loads the antagonistic or opposing muscles on the same side of the body, namely the latissimus dorsi, teres major, serratus anterior, pectoralis major, and coracobrachialis muscles. These muscles are now fully loaded and stretched, ready to help swing the bat from this position, and can be seen more clearly in this image. Once again, the latissimus dorsi, teres major, serratus anterior, pectoralis major, and coracobrachialis muscles. In the next video, we will talk about the second noticeable movement that takes place during the loading phase, and that is the backward rotation of the spine, and identify the muscles involved with this movement. Thanks for watching the video, and if you would like to, please leave a comment or suggestion regarding this segment of the anatomy of the baseball swing.